We're joined post a remarkable day at Box Hill City by senior coach Zane Littlejohn. What are your feelings? I suppose it's as simple as that.
Yeah, proud, mate. Look, we could have packed it up at 3/4 time and said, woe is me, but just full credit to the whole 23. They had a firm belief that, you know, we kicked the sort of first in the last. Who knows what could happen? And everyone will talk about the breeze, but the breeze wasn't in the game really all game. Sides were able to score both ways, and credit to Brisbane. They played an exceptional game. So yeah, to kick the first and gather a little bit of momentum off the back of that. It's just really proud of our group and our staff, all the hard work, but the job's not done.
You really do. Everyone's involvement in the football club, whether you're a player, a staff member, a coach, is because of days like this, isn't it? The payoff of days like this. How do you sum up the emotion of the occasion and in the rooms and in the aftermath?
Yeah, exactly right. I spoke to the group after the game. The feeling they had is why we play footy. I said to them my very first message today was, let's have fun today. Let's just release shackles, have some fun. And I thought in the last quarter we saw them do that. They sort of just stepped outside themselves, stayed really connected, and ultimately got the result. But not just for them, but our staff, the hard work that they put in is for results like this. But it's also for results we're chasing in a fortnight's time, hopefully. So work to do, but we're just really proud. We enjoy the next sort of 24, 48 hours in the result. But yeah, we get back to work and we give ourselves every opportunity now. Bodie
Ryan ended up being a somewhat surprising avenue to goal right there at the end. It's already become somewhat of an urban legend. It was suggested to me by Maddie that Bodie drifting forward might have been a bit of a happy accident. Was it a miscommunication? Not in a bad way, but in terms of he ends up forward just by a bit of happenstance.
Yeah, well, it was. So we were trying to generate 7-6-5 behind the ball at one point, and in that phase, I thought, Brisbane scored, so we need to hold 6 forwards now and try and score. And I just said to Bodie, just stay forward, mate. Let's just stay there. And lucky enough, he was the one who got on the end of it. But what I was really proud of is we moved the magnets a little bit in the last quarter. Guys sort of go to a different spot. Guys who were getting beaten in their particular role on the day swallowed their pride and said, that's fine, I'll do the job for this team, and ultimately did their job, which was really pleasing. And when you've got guys who are willing to buy into the program and execute their roles how they did, you get the results we got today.
It's a bit too simple to distill the last quarter down into that team first mentality. It was a huge part of it, but you gave the boys plenty of belief at the last change. What was it that changed our fortunes, turned our fortunes in that last quarter?
I think the third quarter just looked like we lacked energy. So I said, boys, there's nothing to lose. There's no next week if we lose this game. So let's not go into our shell. Let's make mistakes. Let's take the game on. Let's continue. And Brisbane lifted their rate around their pressure in the third quarter, their contested ball. So we needed to first get back to that, match that area, but then go again and raise the bar. And credit to our boys, especially Huswaite, McKenzie, around the footy, Stanley and Bianco. I thought they were exceptional. Lifted their rate, asked Brisbane to come to us, and we were able to get some early goals and ask the question. But then we just stayed composed, and the last kick of the game, we win the game, which we said it might take to the very last minute, very last second of the game, the very last kick, and it did.
Was it, in a weird sort of way, it was kind of a bit of an inverse even of last week? Not necessarily in terms of we were 5.5 goals down at 3/4 time, but really even arm wrestle, and then the game kind of blows wide open all of a sudden, and then we end up getting the run on that we couldn't generate last week. Did any of last week come into the planning, the rationale, the reaction?
I think from the coach's perspective, we spoke about some modes about how we can generate energy in the game, and we went with that straight away from the last quarter, which is great learning from us as coaches. But the players ultimately have to execute. We reviewed that sort of first 15 minutes of the last quarter last week, which wasn't great, and that's sort of where the game was won or lost really in the end. So we reviewed that and we spoke about that and said, look, let's not go into our shell. Let's be us. You know, we're going to make some mistakes, and as I've mentioned already, but ultimately, when our time comes, you've got to win your next contest. Get to your contest, you worry about winning that. And I reckon that's what happened in the last quarter. We won more contests than we lost. We were able to get the ball in our front end, and then execute ultimately in front of goal.
Absolutely. And then lastly, looking forward to next week, a preliminary final date with the Dogs. We had a look at them a couple of weeks ago. How do we prepare? What are we looking like ahead of that one in 7 days' time?
Yeah, well, we're going to have to be better. Like, again, they taught us a lesson out here probably, over 3 weeks ago now. They're a good footy side. They've got heaps of listed players. They're going to be a great challenge. Their VFL list are really strong as well. So, yeah, it's going to be a great test on their home ground. They've had a really good win last week. They're going to be really confident, and rightly so. They'll go in favourites. We're going to have to be at our absolute best to win the game, and but we've got nothing to lose. Again, there's no next week if we lose the game, so we'll have a crack at it and see where we can end up. And but we're going to have to be better than we were sort of 3 weeks ago when we played them. So it's something we'll look forward to, but we'll enjoy what's happened now. It's important because the game's a hard game, and you don't want to brush over these moments, and make sure you do enjoy it. And we'll enjoy the week building in. But yeah, we've got a job to do, and we said there's 3 wins. We need to win 3 games in the final series, and now we're down to 2. So we've got a job ahead, but we're looking forward to the challenge against a really, really good footy side on their home turf.
Outstanding. Congratulations on the results. That's a really memorable day for the footy club, and we'll enjoy it and go again next week.
We will. Thank you.